I'm starting a new little fabric rug, and I already have the middle done of it where I have my triangle flaps folded, and now I'm going in and doing the first curve here. I wanted to do a nice close-up video so you can see really how I manage my material and what I'm doing here. So I like to pin it after I have it around here just so that the fabric stays in place and I smush it down, and I really want it to have a nice pleated inside there on that curve. So when I go down here at the end, after I have it all how I want it, I just take my time and I do lift my foot and keep my needle down at times to pivot the material because there's a lot of sharp little bends in there, and I want to make sure that that zigzag is catching on both sides of the material and making sure that the material is not overlapping much but just, touching each other, so that way I get a nice connection with that zigzag stitch. So pivoting the material like that really helps for me. I'm down at my second curve here, and what I do is I just kind of bend my material like this so that kind of has a natural scrunch in it, and then I go in and pin it. You can see how the material is really bunched up on the inside bend there. That's what I'm looking for because it really needs to bend a lot. So in order for that material, that fabric rope to bend and to be able to stay laying flat, it really needs those pleated little inside right in there. So again, when I'm going down, I just take my time and make sure that the zigzag stitch is getting on both sides. Taking your time and lifting the foot as you go and moving and pivoting the material, I think really helps keep those stitches nice and clean too, and nice and even. I think the more you make these rugs, the more you definitely realize how the fabric works and what works good with your machine. So that's definitely what I've learned over the time of making all these rugs. When I make my rugs, I like to have the seam on the outside, which I guess is not what most people do. I don't know. But this is how I learned how to do it. It just seemed to work better with the fabric because I sew my tubes with about a 1/4 inch seam allowance down the side. And so I find that that seam doing it the other way is just really difficult to get the material to do what I want and to sit completely flat in these beginning stages. Now, I have never sewn down the middle of the tube, which I think if you did that, it gives a better way either side you could do it, whereas that seam is more stiff when you were trying to do it on the inside, I think. So, I mean, there's different ways that you can sew these and stuff, those fabric tubes. I definitely think you should find what works for you and what you like, but I'm just showing you what I've come to do and what I like. Also, some materials do work better than others. You will find that, when you're buying fabric, sometimes they'll say it's cotton, but it's not fully cotton. You can definitely tell when you touch the fabric and you get it. It's just more stiff or maybe has a plasticky feel. Those ones you totally can make these rugs with, but they will be just a little bit more difficult sometimes to manage the material and get it to do what you want. I think it's key to really take your time as you're sewing these rugs, especially around these ends, because you really want to make sure that you're getting your stitches on both sides and that everything's just coming together really nice. I do love the long ends because I feel like I can just zoom right down them as I go. But even still, you got to be careful because even though I'm using a walking foot, that material can tug and pull and move in different areas if you're going too fast, definitely. Now, as the rug grows, you don't need to bunch that material up on the inside curve as much around these ends. So you can already kind of tell and see that it's not as bunched up on the inside curve, but you still need to have some. Otherwise, it's going to end up to curl up a little, and then you're going to have the rug almost kind of like form a bowl shape, and you don't want that when you're making your rugs. You can see that I have my rug folded up here on the side. That's because I have my stand for my camera over here. I do, as the rug gets bigger, fold it up because I think it's easier to manage the rug and the weight of it, and think that that helps to keep it flat as well. And I do want to mention that I'm sewing in real time. I haven't sped this up or slowed it down at all. Sometimes I tend to go a little faster, probably than I should, but this is the speed that I'm going when I'm making my rugs. I also have been making my rugs for a long time now, and I've made quite a bit. As I'm going, I always check to make sure that everything's just laying nice and flat. I used to use an iron a lot, but now I'm not, just because I'm more familiar and I'm using a little bit better materials. It just kind of depends. Sometimes I'll go in as I'm going and use my little iron and make sure that these ends are staying nice and flat before I sew them. I think checking as you go, making sure to see that what your rug is doing is helpful, because you don't want to get all the way done with your rug and then realize, like, holy cow, it's got like a lot going on with it, and it got some waves and it's bowed up in different areas. I think if you catch it early on, you can rip it out and it's going to save a lot of headache and stress. As my rug is growing, I'm not having to bunch it up as much, so I don't tend to use my pins as much too. Even here at this time, I'm still going to make sure that it has, see right there, a little bit of that pleating on the inside. But with each couple rows here, it's going to get less and less, or eventually you don't really need to do it much at all. I know how stressful making these rugs can be, so I really hope that the different videos that I show have been helping you guys to just kind of see how I move my material and kind of give you guys a visual and to see how I manage everything, just so that maybe you can pick up some ideas and find what works for you and to be able to enjoy this process more, because I want everybody to be able to make these rugs too, because they are fun and they are addicting. You will see once you start.